and all this shit. Like, what does it matter? What does it matter? It just passes. Yo, if I disappear, like, who cares?
Happiness is a trap. It can't last forever. Let's say you meet the love of your life. Well, it's still gonna end. It's inevitable, whether by the slow pull of a disease or the shock of loose footing on a hiking trip. The point is, happiness always ends. Best case scenario, think about this. Best case is that you die. What do you want from me? I want it to end.
All that success, all those sit-ups, but deep down still just a little fatty loser. Always knew you would die.
Now, sink into the floor.
Wait.
Fall.
It is easy to fall into the abyss. The weight of your burdens dragging you deeper into nothingness. The horrors being committed all around you, pushing you further away from the light. One cannot blame you for wanting to close your eyes and to have them never open again. But you can't. You must press on. Wake up every day while you still can and endure. Why? Why? Why, along with what, who, and how, are questions that humanity has asked and tried to answer since its conception. Religion has given answers to these questions which satisfied the masses for centuries. But as decades passed by, the answers the religious institutions gave grew less satisfying, and the people's worry and discontent only grew. Now look at our generation. Depressed, scared, hungry, lost. Looking around, it really does feel like we're at an all-time low. Hope almost feels like a commodity that's hard to come by. With our generation turning our backs to the religious institutions, we find ourselves with a void that needs filling. A dilemma that requires a solution. A dark path that needs a light to shine the way forward. The reason to live, to keep on fighting, is slowly dying out. Something has to be done to bring us back from the brink of destruction. Media, nowadays, only seems to be fueling the existential fire with the soul-crushing movies and shows being made each year. Some uplifting movies popped up here and there, but with little significance. Until Everything, Everywhere, All at Once debuted on March 11th, 2022. A nuke went off, and nobody noticed. People were shocked that a film they didn't think twice about went on to win multiple awards. A film that has the solution to our generation's problems fell through the cracks, whether out of disinterest or not being able to understand what the movie wanted to say. After watching Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, I knew immediately that everybody had to watch this movie. Everyone in our current generation and the ones after needs to hear what this masterpiece has to say if we wish to make it to the other side. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once conveys its powerful message in such a unique way that if given the chance, it will change your entire perspective on how to traverse life. Sit down and let me tell you how Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is the movie that our generation needs. Before we get to the message of the movie, we need to talk about the movie itself. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once cannot simply be a movie with a heavy message. it must make it abundantly clear that this movie understands the audience that it's trying to reach. Without this understanding, the movie's message would fail, since it feels like it's talking down to us instead of inspiring us. So how does this movie accomplish this? Let's look at the title of the movie. Everything, everywhere, all at once. What comes to mind when you hear that title? Everything, everywhere, all at once. Is it peace? A quiet river? Order? No, that's not right. Everything, everywhere, all at once. How about chaos? Rush hour? Societal pressure? I think these words best describe the movie. But can these words describe something else? How about your life? Would you say that your life is chaotic? That sometimes it feels like everything is happening at every possible moment, all at once? Before even watching the movie establishes that life is a chaotic mess that is, simply put, relentless. To go a step further, if you take the title and abbreviate it, you get eeaao. Life can be hectic, confusing, and painful. The story of Everything Everywhere is where the movie gets to sit us down and have a heart-to-heart with the audience, to make sure that we know that it understands us before it reveals its secrets. The movie starts off with Evelyn at the dining room table doing her taxes. Nothing extraordinary. In fact, it's quite boring and tedious, as one would imagine doing taxes would be. In her frustration in trying to file all her taxes properly before the deadline, Evelyn fails to pay attention to Waymond, her husband, who was trying to serve her divorce papers. A simple, boring life, filled with trials and inconveniences, with little to no victories. While Evelyn is juggling all the obstacles in her personal life, along with keeping her laundromat afloat, we see her tired, and more importantly, miserable. Most of us can find ourselves relating to Evelyn in regards of how our lives are going. Stuck at a dead-end job, new burdens piling up on top of the old burdens, making you sink faster. It all makes life feel miserable. Joy would be the last thing you'd describe your current situation. You're just going through the motions, doing things because you have to, not because you want to. All you seem to be able to remember are the traumatizing memories in your life. Which is ironic, because when Evelyn was first introduced to the multiverse and had her life flash before her very eyes, all her memories were negative. For the majority of her memories, she was always frowning or having to fake a smile. She was looking around and all she could see is mistakes and regrets. Though her situation may not be exactly like yours, but the essence of suffering within the situation is the same. It's interesting that the movie chose the main character to be the mother instead of the daughter. Perhaps we could have found more relatability within someone closer to our age. But having Evelyn be the lens in which we see ourselves is perfect, because it melts the notion that we, as a younger generation, could never really understand or relate to anyone from an older generation. Everything Everywhere is doing so much under the surface in terms of themes. You could watch it multiple times and take something new out of it from each watch. It is an incredible film. But to expand more on Evelyn being relatable, we see Evelyn trying to access the other versions of her from the multiverse. When she's finally successful in summoning the right her, Evelyn is wrapped in a universe where, because she didn't go with Waymond to America, and later saved by a kung fu master, She became a skilled fighter, then soon to be a famous movie star. Once she was pulled back into her reality, she clearly wanted to go back. All that fame, all that money, not having to worry about her silly husband. Evelyn saw what her life could have been if only she did things differently. It was addicting. Oh, if only she could trade her current life for the one she bore witness to. But the other Waymond snapped her out of it, warning her that if she lingered in the universe that wasn't truly hers, then it would bring dire consequences. Do we not find ourselves daydreaming about the future? How we dream of our deepest desires coming to reality? We find ourselves stuck in a hole while our mind roams free to think of all the wonderful things that we will do if only we work hard enough. I definitely found myself sitting still for long periods thinking of a better life or how I could have done something better in past events. Yes, with how unbearable life can be for us, it is easy to fall into the temptation to remain in our dreams. But there is a cost. The cost for living in the future is to lose the present. If you lose the present, not only will you lose the future, but you gain a troubled past full of regret as well. This is one of the life lessons that Everything Everywhere is trying to convey. Another piece of the puzzle that reveals to us what we need to take this movie and what it's about to tell us to heart. But now, it's time to talk about the profound message within Everything Everywhere All at Once. The message that our generation needs. Jobu Tupaki, an interdimensional entity that can travel to any universe. Created by the failures of her mother, Jobu Tupaki is in search for the right Evelyn to show her the revelation that will change everything. Everywhere. All at once. When Jobu Tupaki finds our current Evelyn, she shows her a bagel. But this bagel was different. Jobu Tupaki had put everything on this once normal bagel, causing it to collapse on itself and become a black hole. It's with the creation of this bagel that Jobu Tupaki came to the realization that her struggles, her distress, her attempts at succeeding are meaningless. Because at the end of the day, nothing matters. A wickedness grew within Jobu Tupaki's heart, which led her down a path of devastation and chaos throughout multiple universes. All so that Jobu Tupaki can show the right Evelyn what she discovered. So she can see what she sees. To gaze into the void, so the void can stare back at Evelyn. This bagel has a name. Or rather, the concept of the bagel has a name. It's a name that you might have heard before, or maybe you're well aware of its presence. The disease that's killing our brothers and sisters in droves. The concept that drives young minds into madness. The rot that consumes strong men and leaves only empty shells. Nihilism is one of the greatest threats our generation has to face. Everything Everywhere is trying to prepare us to hold our ground against a force that, with one wrong move, will surely send you down a spiral of chaos that will lead you to your doom. So if we are to survive against the behemoth that is nihilism, we must get to know it. Meet Friedrich Nietzsche, a German philosopher who is also referred to as the father of nihilism. You may have also heard the phrase, "God is dead," before at some point. Friedrich Nietzsche was the one who coined that phrase. God is dead, and we killed him, is a response to what Nietzsche saw during his lifetime. The religious institutions failing its people, therefore causing the people to question what they originally thought was true. Rejecting it, and altogether rejecting the church. It's in this moment Nietzsche believes that this is where a person will be introduced to nihilism. The belief that life has no meaning. There is no grand purpose, nothing. You see, Nietzsche has a dreadful fear. If society fully rejected religion and were to adopt nihilism, then there's a good chance that society will fall into chaos. It will devour itself and soon collapse. Why should you be good if nothing matters in the end? Why should you continue to suffer if life has no meaning? Why should you keep on fighting if your efforts will amount to nothing? This is what Jobu Tupaki witnessed when she created her nihilistic bagel. Within the void, she found a wickedness that brought her comfort. The chaos that followed after only brought her peace. But if she wants ultimate peace, Jobu Tupaki needs the right Evelyn to be consumed by the emptiness of the bagel to finally put an end to it all. So the objective for the main characters is to stop Jobu Tupaki before she destroys the multiverse. And once again, that responsibility falls upon Evelyn. The multiversal rebels wants to kill Jobu Tupaki to end the chaos, but that would mean Joy must die. While not having the best relationship with her daughter, Evelyn definitely doesn't want to kill her only daughter. So what other options can she do to stop Jobu Tupaki and the growing chaos? The solution that Evelyn proposes is something you don't often see in movies with how absurd it sounds. Typically, the solution to stop the world or universe ending issue is by destroying it. But Evelyn wants to harness the power of Jobu Tupaki so she can stop her and save Joy. Here, the movie isn't flat out rejecting the nihilism of Jobu Tupaki, but rather embracing it. In order to save her daughter, Evelyn must go through the same process as Jobu Tupaki has. A bold move on Evelyn's part, but especially on the film's. To accept this cold reality Jobu Tupaki laid out rather than flat out denounce it. So, what? If nothing matters, and everything is a statistical inevitability, should we give up in life? Should we give up doing good? This is where it starts to get interesting. When Nietzsche was discussing nihilism, he did express his fears about its potential consequences on the structure of society, but he knew that nihilism was the key to man's progression. But how can the belief of life being meaningless be the next evolutionary state of men, who are naturally inclined to endure with the help of incentives? This is where Everything Everywhere All at Once's message comes into play. As Evelyn gazes into the bagel, her life starts to fall apart all around her. Every multiverse ripping itself apart with more and more problems. But what does Evelyn do? She self-destructs. Now understanding that Jobu Tupaki wanted her to see, she simply lets go and laughs as her livelihood shatters into pieces. What makes it even worse is that Evelyn feeds into the chaos by signing the divorce papers, revealing Rekakuni, rejecting her sausage-fingered partner, stabbing Waymond on his side. Evelyn has harnessed the powers of Jobu Tupaki and is now ready to unleash an unspeakable wickedness upon the multiverse. But a spark of hope breaks through the darkness. Waymond steps up and tries to reason with Evelyn and the rebels.
I know you're all fighting because you're scared and confused. I'm confused too. All day. I don't know what the heck is going on.
我总是看到事情好的一面，那不是因为我天真，而是必要，而需要，这也就是我的生存之道。
The only thing I do know is that we have to be kind.
With Waymond's speech, Evelyn now found a new perspective in a life with meaningless.
I found life where I didn't know anybody else's. They said I didn't mean anything, but I know mine won't. Taking souls in different places, maybe it's exaggerated. No one cares what they
And with this found perspective, she begins to fight everyone with kindness and saves Joy from throwing herself into the nihilistic void. But being kind isn't the message the film is trying to convey. It's not the important revelation that I have been talking about. The act of kindness is something the film wants you to pursue rather than chaos. But the question of why should we care to be kind in a world of nihilism if nothing matters at the end of the day still remains. As Joy is about to leave the party, Evelyn runs out to stop her. For a moment, Evelyn lets Joy go, allowing her to fall deeper into the black hole. But in a split-second decision, Evelyn stops Joy again. She begins to tell Joy the truth, which at first seemed harsh, but there's no point in trying to soften the blow at this point. Even though there's a better life to be had, Evelyn wanted to stay in this life with her family. She's seen what's out there, what lives she could have had that were 10 times better than her current one. But she wanted this life, and when Joy asked if they should go back to the party, Evelyn replies,
We can do whatever we want. Nothing matters.
That's the beauty of the film's message. It doesn't try to give you a generic, corny response to an overwhelming dilemma, but rather it flips the question around. If life has no meaning, and at the end of the day nothing matters, then why stress about the little things that bring us down? Why care about the minor offense that sets us ablaze? The meaning of life, it's in our hands. And if that's the case, then perhaps it's time we gave life a second chance. And to tie everything up, the story ends with Evelyn back at the IRS getting her taxes in order. She doesn't become a superhero or famous actress. The only thing that changed is her outlook in life. Her life remains the same, but now, Evelyn can appreciate it. In this respect, the film shows that an average person with an average life can still find joy within it, since importance and meaning is manifested within ourselves. You, the average man, can find peace within the chaos. I think it's pretty funny that the reason why everyone wanted Evelyn is because she was painfully average. So if she can find purpose and happiness in a reality that seemingly has no purpose, then you can too. You don't have to be something breathtaking to find satisfaction. All you need is to rethink how you view life. The message that everything, everywhere, all at once can only work if the film was upfront and honest with the audience. And the truth is horrifying. But even with how cold and desolate nihilism may appear at first, be reminded that nihilism can also be liberating. We are each given a block of clay for us to mold and shape to our liking. So what will you shape your block of clay into? Will you create something that will inflict pain and chaos upon the world? Or will you create something that will breathe kindness and be the light in this dark void? Because at the end of the day, nothing matters.